Alrighty then. I appear to have video this time. I did promise it would be a hot mess. So, this is going to be interesting. I'm fairly sure nobody's watching, which is good because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try sharing links to other sites. So, if I see for a moment where I'm like not doing anything, um, that's because I'm typing and trying to type and talk at the same time is tricky because usually you generally wind up typing what you're saying. I'm thinking I'm probably going to try and set this up next time so that I can just like copy pasta stuff. Hopefully. Because I think what I'm sharing now is not going to be a proper linky. Huh. No, that is not a good link. All right. So if I wanted to share this, what would I do? I've got all these little icons here. Ah, okay, there's my video link. It just has a little pop-up thingy. Okay, trying this again. Uh, we'll edit this instead of replacing it. Try that. And yeah, so this is basically trial run. I'm going to be testing this out for sound and video. So if anyone does start watching, please give me some feedback in the chat. I made sure it was set to not kid friendly so that you can leave comments. And that would be helpful. I am going to carry on with this for probably about 30 minutes today at most because it's just me. I'm taking a page out of Jim Curtis's book. He's been doing live chats, and I really enjoy those. Getting to listen to Jim and Ian and sometimes Johnny or whoever else happens to be there has been a big encouragement the last couple of months. And if there's one thing that I can do right now, it's to help encourage other people. Um, it's not entirely a selfless motivation because by doing this, I also am helping me a little bit be more focused and not so curled up into my own shell. And yeah, that's not a good place right now. So, I'm still copy pasting into other things. Next time I will have this set up, but this time it's a hot mess because I'm learning as I work on it. There really isn't a way to like rehearse this. This is the dress rehearsal. And I'm planning on doing these Friday evenings. Yes, I know the lighting is really harsh. I'm sitting at my art desk and the light that I have for the art desk is um, a LED shop light, basically. It's great when I'm working, but for this, not so much because I have all forehead. um, so I am gonna have to figure out what to do about the light because I think if I turn it off, then I'm going to be like really dark. I don't know. And now you can definitely see what's behind me more, I suppose. Yes, it washes all the color out, and at the moment, I have very little light, so it's probably gonna go all digital pixely. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest. Um, I may wind up getting something for lighting. Um, my writing desk is in my bedroom, which is usually where Sanford is, and he is not prepared to do a video, and I'm not gonna rope him into it just because I want to do it. Um, so I am going to oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, I was given a really nice microphone by a friend and a fan because the sound card in my laptop does not work properly. So we wind up with weird digital squeals if I rely on the internal microphone in the laptop. The, camera is the internal camera on my laptop. The only thing better I could do than that would actually be to use my phone, but if I use my phone for streaming, which is what I've done in the past for some art videos, I cannot also see and respond to comments, which is what I'm doing right now with Nolan, who I have started thinking of as Puck from Midsummer's Night's Dream. After playing that role-playing game with you, I now have this mental image of you as Puck, very puckish. Um, so yeah, this is very much the trial run. I'm gonna be figuring out things like lighting and the sound being good is good. I have tested this microphone setup before. It has an audio, docking converter thing. I'm so not a sound tech. Um, I barely know what I'm doing with this. I've been Googling it all to figure it out, which is my standard procedure for learn how to do a new thing. Is Google it, and I'm probably moving around too much too. I'm sitting in a swivel chair at my art desk, which is also a standing desk. And yes, it was really good to see you. And I need to do more of that, but I'm not going to be able to do more of that for quite some time, which is part of what the video is about. I'm still going to be doing the blogging. I know I had people telling me that they would rather read than watch a video or listen, and I'm completely sympathetic to that because sometimes I'm like that myself. However, I listen to podcasts, quite a lot at work these days because I have a little wireless, earbud set that I can stick in, not touch, which is important working in labs, and just listen to, my playlist of podcasts or, when Jim does his live broadcasts, I can listen in to him. I don't have to necessarily watch the video at the same time. Not that it's not nice to see Jim's face, but it's more about getting to hear a friend's voice that I find reassuring, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this, because I figure I might not like the sound of my own voice, but it reading someone isn't quite the same thing as talking to them. Unless you have a very characteristic voice like Sarah Hoyt, who I always hear her voice in my head, when I'm reading her blog. So, I don't know if that's the case for me. Probably not, because you all haven't heard me that much, I guess. And I'm comfortable enough doing video. After 16 years of performing, if I'm not comfortable doing improv in front of people, no, I'm comfortable doing improv in front of people because I got paid and paid well to do it for a long time. I'm not gonna be doing any balloon twisting on these feeds, though. Not only do you not need the squeaking, but, I've developed a latex sensitivity. It's inevitable. Most of my balloon twisting friends seem to develop that after about the 2nd decade of doing it, and, yeah, so I can twist balloons still, but it makes me itchy. I'd rather not. "Hi, mom." I'm glad you found me. I didn't pre-announce it on MeWe, I'm afraid. I had put it up on Facebook to warn people that I was gonna do this, and I forgot about MeWe. I've Yes, learning experience. This whole thing is a learning experience. And the other thing too is that if I can do this on a regular basis, my sister gets to see me, so I can call and talk to mom on the phone, but Juniper's not chatty on the phone, never has been, so, um, yeah, and since I can't travel because work says no travel at all right now, we've gone from Yes, sister, the cute moose. No, work has decreed that, where before they were saying no travel to places that have a high incidence of COVID-19, right now it's no travel at all. And as a matter of fact, because so many people took long vacations over the holidays, work is going to be doing a rapid, and I'm really hoping for the pregnancy style antigen tests because they only take about 20 minutes, but they're going to be doing rapid COVID testing in the parking lot when we come back from work. I am not thrilled about this, um, but needs must, and it's how I make most of my money these days. So I will, and I'm not traveling, which means I can't go see my sister. I am bringing all of this back to one point, but mostly this is going to be rambling today because I'm testing. And I think I'm going to try for a light off to the side, the other side. This side has light. This side could use a little more light without totally washing myself out. But honestly, if I get enough light on me, I'm going to be paper white. I am almost completely without pigment in the face and neck anymore. The fact that my hair hasn't gone completely white is a testament to something, and henna. It's not all henna, though. I still do have pigment in the hair, thank goodness. Yes. You can't read the coffee cup. It's backwards. I'd forgotten it was mirrored. It says, "I'm a multitasker. I can procrastinate, waste time, and be unproductive all at the same time." I don't intend for the videos I do this way to be readings. I may do some readings, but I will probably do those not live, canned, and post those. Um, I may even do some reading that isn't from my work and do some of my favorite poetry. Um, yeah, at least 3 people with vitiligo in the family. My daughter started to develop it when she was 12. I have it, my sister has it. Um, it's one of those oddball little matrilineal genetic things, so it passes down through the women in the family usually. Men can get it, it's very rare. Um, and that's my ADHD brain popping around from one thing to the other. I have intended these chats to be exactly that. They are going to be somewhat topical, but I don't plan on doing a lot of current events. I'm not exactly the most political person in the world, and I would rather not get into too much controversy. I probably will do some science chit chat stuff if I come across something cool. And it is entirely possible that I may move this to the kitchen and do this while I'm cooking at some point. The problem with doing cooking videos is that you really ought to have a clean kitchen, and mine is not always. Sanford, my love, if you are going to tap, tap, tap back there, you might want to wait a few minutes. He has a little task he does that involves a tapping noise, and I don't think he realized I was doing this. And that I'm gonna have to watch out on not too slurping while I'm drinking my tea. No, well, I mean, a clean kitchen to start out with, but probably not if it gets dirty during the video. I'm not worried about that. No, he didn't start tapping. I headed him off at the pass. Although, actually, Go ahead and do it, honey, because this is a cardioid microphone. It might not pick you up. So, therefore, if you hear it, let me know. I am drinking the Good Earth Sweet and Spicy. Actually, this is funny. Mom's watching because I have this because of her. I had introduced her to it. It's a really nice red rooibos tea based with honeybush in it, so it's naturally sweet without adding sugar. And mom bought a bunch of it and then drank too much, and it was making her stomach hurt. So I wound up with a couple of boxes of it. So, but it is really nice, and I mix it in with other things. I like spiced teas. This is a spiced tea. And hi, Grandma. See, this is the other reason I wanted to do this because this way I get to talk to family. Um, but I like spicy teas, um, and I like chai and some herbal teas that tend to be fruity. Earlier, I was drinking a black currant and elderflower that I'm almost out of, and I'm hopefully going to be able to find it again because it's a Brit import. And the problem with buying things at Jungle Gyms that look cool is that sometimes I can't find them again. So they were fun while they lasted. Johann has a lemon tea that he loves. And for those of you watching that aren't familiar with the family, that's my little man from the blog. I'm not sure I can do name blog names on the video and reliably remember them. Why are you drinking coffee if it makes you feel sick, Mom? I mean, you can drink black tea, so yes. Yeah, actually, Johann's lemon tea that we first found at Jungle Gyms and then couldn't find again, we've since found out it's kind of a seasonal thing. Um, but we wound up getting that on Amazon, much larger box, and he's still working on it. He doesn't drink tea all that often. He's more of a cocoa drinker. And at this time, actually, so we went to Walmart today because he wanted to hit the clearance section. And one of the things that came home with us was candy canes because he likes a candy cane in his hot chocolate. So he can have peppermint chocolate. And that's something he learned from me. So growing up, one of the fun things that we did was we did these fun little recipes with hot cocoa that were really simple. So things like, I can't remember the name of it. It's a celestial seasonings tea, and it's cranberry. And if you mix the cranberry tea after it's steeped with your usual hot cocoa mix, it tastes like chocolate covered cherries in a cup. And that was one of my favorite things when I was a kid. Um, and so when my kids were little, I introduced them to that, which they didn't like as much, but they love the candy canes in cocoa. And I like either ginger tea or I have a ginger liqueur, and I put those in my cocoa separately. Two would be too much, I think. And I like the ginger and chocolate together, and I've done a few other oddball things. So, question, have you guys been able to hear the tapping in the background? I can hear it, but it's possible you can't because this microphone's decent. I hope. Um, so yeah, cooking videos are a possibility. Okay, good. No hair, no tapping. Then I won't worry about things like the dog walking around because poor baby. We tried to trim her toenails, and Johann and Sanford were working on it together, and Johann was manipulating the clippers, and she whimpered, and now he's afraid to touch her because he doesn't want to hurt her. Grandma, I don't know if that's my volume or your ears, and I'm not sure what to tell you on that one. I will test the internal volume of the microphone Not now, not while I'm doing trying to do the live, but I'll test it. I didn't even think about that. So that's something to think about. I don't know how loud you can turn up your. Oh, it's not my voice volume, Sanford. I'm pretty sure it's either the microphone volume through or possibly just that grandma can't hear. Cooking videos are a possibility. Um, Part of the reason I have not been doing Eat This, Will You Read That? Oh, good. Part of the reason that I have not been doing Eat This, Will You Read That is I have not been cooking a lot. Um, when I come home after work, I'm done. I come home. My usual routine is to transcribe my dictation and maybe edit it. Unfortunately, right now, even with training Dragon while driving, dictating is coming out with a very dirty transcript. Mom can attest to that. She's seen a couple of my transcripts and gotten a couple of my recordings to manually transcribe. The editing is not fun, and so I have a bad habit of putting it off, or it just takes me a while to do. So evenings are working on art stuff. I need to set aside some time to do marketing. Um, if you saw my Mad Genius post today, you'll see that I'm about at my wit's end with writing and marketing and trying to make Sanderly Studios into a going concern. But it will, or not. If it doesn't, then I will have to take on a weekend job, and at that point, I won't have time to do any of this. Well, Jimmy, since we've got a thing that we're working on, might do an Eat This, Will You Read That for you with the wide world of PB&J sandwiches. I have done grilled cheese twice for Eat This, Will You Read That. Once was a grilled cheese in um, the zombie apocalypse, so it was like Velveeta and Wonder Bread because that stuff never expires. 100 years after the apoc, it'll still be on the shelves, right? Anyhow, that was a riot. That was more about the photography, and I had great fun doing art photography for that. Um, and then the other grilled cheese that I did was a really elegant, elevated version for Sharon Lee and Steve Miller's series, the Liaden books, which I really enjoy. They're Regency romances and space opera. But when I asked Sharon about that, she suggested grilled cheese and apple butter, which is a wonderful pairing. And I did open face version on homemade bread, and they were delectable. That was a lovely, lovely thing to get to do. So I could do something like that with PB&J. Yes, Korea level money would be nice. I probably not going to get there. I'm independent, first of all, which is has its upsides and downsides. It's not that I wouldn't sell a book to a publisher, it's that I would have to really trust the publisher, and I would eventually probably send a book to Baen. I'd have to write it first. And right now, honestly, the idea of trying to come up with a pitch and approach a publisher, and it's exhausting. I need to market more. Um, if I started making the next level up of money and, I don't know, merchandising, licensing stuff, I don't write with merch in mind. The art does that, so it's different. If I go up another level, in income, I'd probably wind up hiring someone to do some of the marketing and promo because I don't have energy. And I don't know how much of that is 2020 and how much of it is the fact that I have gone from, "You have reactive lungs," to, "You probably have asthma, but we're not going to test you because COVID." So, I can't even get treated for the fact that I have trouble breathing a lot. So, that might bring my brain back online a little bit more and give me more energy. It might not. I'm holding out hope for it to do so because then it would be better. So, and my dad. This is a family chat. And yes, Jimmy and Nolan, you 2 are family too. I'm not sure. I my little indicator says I have 6 people watching, so, um, yeah, this year has been rough. Uh, it's okay though. There are days that it's harder to count my blessings than others, but I always have blessings to count, even if sometimes I have to get creative. And the art right now, well, Jimmy's here. I'm not gonna make a huge announcement yet, but Jimmy and I are working on a children's book together. And that is a fun project. Any of you that are in my art group on Facebook, have seen all of the illustrations that have been done so far. And I keep thinking I'm done, and then I keep adding a couple more. Plus, there's probably gonna be some filler sketches. So right now we're looking at, a month from now before that's released. So probably 2 weeks before we do a big announcement. I don't know, and unless Jimmy wants to do it sooner, we can I'm working on layout, and we need to figure out the cover. There's a whole process here, and neither of us know what we're doing, so we're learning it as we go. Um, I am also in the very yes, this will be a picture book like The Cute Moose. It will be, all black and white interior, which will make it slightly less expensive, maybe, I think. Um, I have learned a lot from The Cute Moose, and color interiors are fantastic. I'm making almost no money on The Cute Moose because, it's color, and I didn't wanna price it very high so that it was affordable for people, and because The Cute Moose wasn't about making money. It was about getting the book published so that Juniper could have it for Christmas. Grandma, yes, the new book will be in rhyme, but not my words. That would be Jimmy. Jimmy's doing the words, and he has a very good touch with, um, poetry, and it's fun. It's fun. Um, and so that one will be a black and white interior, and I'm very tentatively talking with someone else about doing another collaboration. Um, so that one will definitely be later this year. I am also planning on taking the Alaskan 12 Days of Christmas and doing the illustrations for that throughout the year, and with the goal of publishing that in October or November of 2021. Um, so that one will be fun, and that's kind of a family project. Dad and my uncle Doug are responsible for most of the lyrics, and I have permission from them to, use them. Mom does not claim, anything in the lyrics on that. Dad says she had more to do with it than she says, so we'll see how I do the credits on that. Um Yeah, the Alaskan 12 Days of Christmas, I have the words, so the illustrations, I do wanna do that one in color, um, and things like a bunch of bush planes, I am gonna have to get creative with that because 'cause I'm gonna try and I don't wanna just copy paste a bunch of bush planes, so yes, Jimmy, we are going to be doing more. Um, we'll have to figure out timing on those. I don't think Uncle Doug is watching, Dad. Um, for one thing, I'm not sure how good their internet is there, and I think he only checks in once or twice a day. So, my Uncle Doug and Aunt Mel winter in an RV in Quartzsite, Arizona, and they rock hound. So I actually have a tin of rocks around here that Uncle Doug gave me, and I've been meaning to do wire wrapping. But as my dear husband frequently reminds me, I don't have time enough in my entire life to do all of the projects I would like to. So, yes, I have multiple picture books planned, both solo and as collaborations this coming year. As far as fiction goes, I will be putting out The Case of the Perambulating Hat Rack probably in February. The East Witch the East Witch is not doing as well as I would like, even though, as I'm reminded, it's only been out for a week, and I need to be patient, give it time. I have no patience. Uh, it's not releasing as strongly as some of my other books have. Part of that is because I basically was just like, "Blop, there it is." Um, and part of it's because I did do 2 releases in a single month, which is insanity, and I don't intend to do that again. Um, and some of it's just because I'm not doing the promotion like I should because I'm struggling with promoting myself and having confidence in myself to do so. And I'm going to try and get over that, I know. Um, yes, library purchasers will buy from indie publishers. The Cute Moose is not eligible for extended distribution because the size is custom. Nolan, if you want a copy of the East Witch, it will be in your email later tonight. Um, there are very few people in the world I would do that with, but yeah. The Cute Moose is a custom size. What happened with the Cute Moose is that, and I've written about this, but I'll go over it again because it's an important lesson. I did not look before I started making the art to check and make sure that the format size I was wanting was available through KDP. So Kindle Direct Publishing is a print on demand, and which is terribly convenient because I don't want to have 1,000 books in my closet. I don't think I have room for that many in my closet. Um, the problem is that it's got limited paper size. And what I think, reading between the lines, because they don't say this, is that their sizes range from approximately 5 inches by 8 inches through 8.5 by 11 inches, which is your regular letter size paper. With the coloring books, Inktail, and Inktail 2, the 8.5 by 11 size that I wanted to make them a good coloring book size worked nicely, and I've since found out that that's actually the cheapest because they don't have any trims. So, the project that Jimmy and I are working on, we formatted for 8.5 by 11 to take advantage of that and the black and white interior, so we should be able to offer it at a much more reasonable price and through extended distribution, which means that, yes, libraries and schools will be able to purchase it. Whether they will or not, I don't have the contacts I used to. Um, My former boss is no longer at the library where I used to work as a children's librarian, so I can't send him a copy and ask him to put it into WorldCat, and a lot of libraries will not buy a book that is not in, WorldCat, which is a big library database. And I'm not sure anymore how to get a book in that. I have a couple of mine in there because when I was publishing Vulcan's Kittens, I worked at the library and I put it in WorldCat with my boss's blessing. Um, so whether or not I can get extended distribution to get the children's books in to schools and libraries, I don't know. Um, my son has a couple of times attempted to get Vulcan's Kittens and its sister book, The God's Wolfling, into his school libraries. The problem with that is that I wrote a scene into The God's Wolfling where there is a drug lab, and they're very obviously bad guys. And the situation gets wiped out right quick. But any mention of that at all evidently makes it problematic material, and school librarians do not want it. So I it was one of those things that it never even crossed my pea-picking little mind when I wrote it. I've learned, um, when I write another one, and I will be writing at least one more in that world, uh, I may go back and edit, but that would take some serious structural editing and God's Wolfling to take that out. Um, I have not approached my local library about my books. Mm, I don't know how they would react to an indie. Uh, Mackie Chandler has had issues with he donated books to his library and they promptly sold them. That is unfortunately going to be the result with most donated books. Unless a library knows their book is going to circulate, i.e., it's a popular book, it's on a best-selling list, or someone has requested it, they're unlikely to buy the book for good reasons. They don't need something in their catalog that's never going to go out. I have weeded a library. I understand this. The other problem is that in the early days of indie publishing, or more specifically, this has been vanity publishing, there were some authors that bought 1,000 copies of their own book and then gave it to every library in a 3-state radius. That shotgun approach soured a lot of libraries on trying independent authors because it gets treated as synonymous with vanity publishing, and arguably it is vanity publishing. Um, so getting libraries to accept that could be tricky. Yeah, I don't know about indie books. Honestly, I think they should. If I were still working as a librarian, especially with COVID, I would be putting indie books onto the ebook catalogs because they don't have the licensing restrictions that make traditionally published ebooks so dang expensive for libraries. I mean, if you go look at a traditionally published novel on Amazon, it's expensive, but the library pays a premium price that is usually 3 to 4 times that high, and they're restricted on how many times they can loan that book out before it falls apart, air quotes, and they have to relicense to be able to do it again. It's ridiculous, and it's we're stuck with traditional publishing until the wheels fall off the cart. Now there's a poem, the one horse shay. Uh, no, I agree. There are absolutely some good books being done indie. There are a lot of trash books being done indie, but there are a lot of trash books being done traditional as well, along with some good ones. It's definitely Sturgeon's Law. 90% of everything is crap. And it's one of the things that makes promoting myself difficult because this is why I own a publishing imprint. When I started doing this a decade ago, I wanted to have the imprint to hide behind, so it wasn't immediately a self-published book. And it's why I've worked so hard on covers, trying to make them look professional, and at this point, I am professional, I get paid to do them. Yes, I've noticed that the first books on Prime where you get a choice of a free book every month if you have Amazon Prime. I have tried those a few times, and I've gotten to the point where I don't even because they're almost universally either really, really trite, overdone stuff, or they just don't look like something I want to read. Um, I know I picked up a historical novel several months ago and started it and went, "This is not even close to being historically accurate," and I left a review stating so and stirred up quite a furor. This was before Amazon, took away the ability to comment on reviews. Um, I was amused, but I was right, so well, we're trying to write fast enough to keep you happy, Nolan. Uh, one of the things that I got myself into this last year was between dictation and forcing myself to do daily word counts up through, Thanksgiving, and after that, I got spotty. I have not been writing every day, this month. I'd hoped to hit 350,000 words written this year. I don't think I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna be about 20,000 words shy, unless I spend the next few days really writing. That's not gonna happen. Well, yes, we're busy, but it's always flattering. Um, there's a difference between an entitled fan. Amanda Green posted on Mad Genius about an entitled fan demanding books from Nora Roberts and berating her when she felt like her publishing schedule wasn't going fast enough. But the reality is that the writing itself is the easy part. I find the editing really hard. um, and there's also formatting, making sure you have a cover, sending it out to beta readers, revising again. And even as nimble as I can be as an indie author, it still takes me time. I can't churn out Pulp Fiction levels of novels. I know there are people out there that can and do, and they're putting out 6 books a year. I just can't. Um, and I was happy not doing that up until this year when we got to the point where we need the income from the writing, um, because it's either I write and sell art and make enough money from that, or I go out and get a second job, and I really don't want to. So this year I've been trying very hard to boost the writing and the art. Um, I'm doing book covers for other people. Through some miscommunications, I wound up doing a couple of covers this year that I didn't get paid for, um, which sucks, but happens. Um, and the other art, I forgot it. I'll have to do it next time. So I'm doing print on demand art as well as print on demand books. I have one place I work through, and they've been having some supply issues because COVID. And so I'm thinking about adding a second place. But one of the things they added this year was the ability to convert art to embroidery. So I took a horse that I had drawn, and had them convert that to an embroidery file, and then ordered a beanie, a stocking cap, um, with the horse on it, and it looks really nice. So I will, probably be promoting that on the blog as well. But that's one way for me to make the art multitask is to, do merch, t-shirts, prints, coffee mugs, and the things like dragons they're handmade completely, and they're absolutely unique, one of a kind. I could, I suppose, technically make some of them the same way every single time. I don't because I get bored easily. Yes, uh, I have no plans to do any live venues in 2021. I don't know if LibertyCon is going to make it. I did not manage to get tickets, the last time they were on sale, and I don't even think they're going to be on sale this year because they were already sold out and it rolled. Um, and honestly, I don't think I can plan for that far ahead so that I could buy the tickets in the first 10 minutes they go on sale for LibertyCon. So I may never do LibertyCon again, which makes me sad. There are some small subversive cons happening. Um, I may be able to do one of those again, maybe, if work lets up on the travel. Right now, I need the income, so work gets to dictate a lot to me. Um, but so James Young, is if you don't know who he is, he does alternate history, space opera, really good writer, fantastic marketer. I'm constantly watching what he's doing and learning. And yes, Scott, Fanboy would not be a bad one. I was there one year as booth babe for Brad and Paula with Mystic Waboose. And the problem with that is it's going to be several $100s up front for a booth, at least, if not over $1,000. As a relatively unknown author slash artist, and because I don't do fan art, I probably would not make my money back. Um, Fan art, it's like I tell my kids when I go into Hot Topic with them. My fandoms are so obscure, I can't even find them there. And I can't justify doing fan art for several reasons. One, it tends to be fraught with copyright issues. Um, I mean, heck, part of the reason I don't do Etsy anymore is because I did a watercolor of an orangutan leaning on a pile of books, and I got a cease and desist letter from Terry Pratchett's estate because they claimed that it was violating copyright, which it is not. That doesn't matter. Whether or not you're violating copyright does not matter. The lawyers will send out the letters anyway. It's a gratuitous gimme. They either want you to shell out money buying licensing, which if I were going to sell certain things commercially, I would look into because I don't want someone to mess with my IP. I'm not going to mess with their intellectual property. But the blanket Autobot attacks are ridiculous, and um, so I shut down the Etsy site, which Etsy has issues anyway, other than that. And that's why I use WooCommerce hosted on my own website for a web store. Keeping it running is a challenge sometimes because, again, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm Googling. Yes, the librarian, Ook, and he is one of my favorite characters. The watercolor was not intended as fan art, but it's I'm just not gonna mess with it. Mom, Pratchett is interesting. Sanford doesn't like some of Pratchett, anything with Rincewind in it, because Rincewind is the ultimate coward. It's what keeps him alive. Sanford cannot read any Rincewind books. However, the Watch books with Sam Vimes and Captain Carrot and Angua the werewolf, he can and does read those. My absolute favorite Pratchett is Thud, and it is a really great bedtime story with a lot more going on. Yes, Luggage is awesome. Um, that's the thing. If I were going to do fan art, it'd be stuff like Pratchett, and I don't dare. um, I am going to cut this off in about 5 minutes because two things. One, even with tea, my voice is going to go. I'm not used to this. Mom, I may bring you some books next time I manage to get down there. I have a lot of his in paper. I even have, which is really cool, some of the English version hardbacks. They have totally different covers and different editing than the American books, which is nifty. Um, Reaper Man is awesome. I have to say that over my writing desk on the mantelpiece, because my desk backs up to the fireplace, um, there is a little rat skeleton, and I need to make him a black cloak so he can be a proper death of rats. How is Ginger Cream doing, Mom? For those of you that don't know, Mom is a goat grandma again. Um, she has a baby that was born, and it's far too cold to be outside all the time. So the first couple of days, Mom had the baby inside and was taking her out to Mom for milk. And it sounds like she's still doing that. Mom is a first time mom and is not too keen on this little weird thing messing around with her underneath. Ah, good. Mom was a little worried about her breathing when the baby was born, so we have been checking in. Death of fleas. Oh, yes. So, my Christmas present this year was a coupon for auto detail to get my car maybe not quite so lived in looking. It was one of two things that I asked for from my husband. The other one was a polymer clay set so I could start sculpting again. And he said no because I do too much. So I have going to get my car spiffy, but no clay. Otherwise, I would make a flea. So the thing is that sculpting is actually where I started with art. It was my very first art medium because my grandfather was a potter and he would let me mess around with clay in his shop and then fire it and glaze it. And at one point, that was one of the things that I was thinking about doing before I went back to college 2.0 was becoming a potter. I was going to try and buy his shop from him because he was no longer physically capable of doing it. And throw pots and make sculptures and sell them and run Dad's farm for him. The other leg of the pants of time, and to go with another Pratchett. If you're wondering why I'm looking off to the side, I have a window over here. And being shiny squirrel, when there's headlights or motion out there, I turn my head and look. I should probably see if I can get blinds and pull them down so that I'm not so distractible. It's fantastic for light on the art desk. I actually have two windows. One's in front of the desk and the other one's next to it. So it's great for painting and whatnot. We have a little bit of snow. We got a dusting, and we'd gotten more snow a while back, and it all melted off. That is the lovely thing about Ohio, is we get snow, and then the snow goes away. So it was snowing yesterday during Christmas time, which was so nice. We don't get a white Christmas down here all that often. We're more likely to have rainy and maybe kind of gray green. I had planned on going out for a hike today because it was sunny, but it was also very cold. And with the asthma, cold and exercise is a bad idea. So Sanford talked me out of it. But tomorrow it's supposed to be in the high 40s. All the snow will go away, and I am going to go out, even though it's going to be overcast, and take a hike. I need the outside. It makes me happy. The weird little self care things that we do to keep ourselves going. Well, thank you all for listening. I uh, I will start doing this on Friday evenings. I don't want to try and do it more than once a week at this point. This is easier for me at this point than sitting down and typing up a blog post. I might not always be quite so chatty. Love you too, mom. Um, I might not always be quite so randomly chatty, although if most of my family shows up, then I might be. uh, and yes, this is good to see and talk to you all, and thank you for coming, and I will see you again, a week from yesterday, Friday, and I think I will probably do it a little bit later, more like 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Um, Happy to have some feedback on that, and I'll post that on social media as well, just because I think 7 o'clock Eastern may interfere with people's dinner times. So we'll see. And of course, you will be getting me Sleep Loopy at the end of my work week most weeks. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But weekends tend to be more hectic for me than weekdays, today being a rare exception. Anyhow, this was fun. Thank you all for coming and chiming in the comments. And I will talk to you again in a week. Bye.